Hey, how's it going? Thanks for coming to the channel. For those who don't know, I'm Jeremy. I do 2 videos a day, Monday through Friday. First one, if you're on YouTube, it's two different channels. First one is Practical Focused Improvement, and I've given it a little spin calling it a noble house, and that's because Dune came out, and that movie is, I'm not enjoying it. I like the first one more. They came out, I guess it's going to be in 2 parts. It's longer than the original one that they made in the 80s, and they told less. A lot of it is just, spoiler alert, but not. It's just pictures. It's like them standing around, or some scenic shot, or just nothing. It's just so boring. So you decide to go watch it, lower your expectations, and you'll probably enjoy it more then. So that's the way it is with me, at least. If my expectations are here and then I go and watch the movie and it's better, then I enjoy it a lot more that way. So if you are on Bitchute, my second video did not load up yesterday. I always have problems with Bitchute. I will try to get it up after I'm done with this. So today we're going to talk a little bit about Black Lives Matter. I have 2 videos. One of them is from the quartering and the other one is from Legal Eagle. And I'm just going to gloss over the one from Legal Eagle because one of the topics that I haven't gotten into that I would like to is copyright law. This video is titled How Taylor Swift Legally Changed Music Forever, featuring Rick Beato. And Rick Beato is, I guess it's this guy. I'm assuming it's this guy. I didn't pay attention to him. I don't know who he is. I don't care. But he talks about, and this is, pass this. And so copyright laws and trademarks and all that, I just completely disagree with it all. I think it's just all trash. But we're going to let him explain what she did, or I should say, her and her group.
What if I told you that Taylor Swift changed music forever? And no, I don't mean by pioneering her own brand of folksy yet accessible pop rock. I mean that she actually changed the way that music gets made and the way that artists are able to monetize the art that they create. It's actually true.
That's crazy. And just so that we're clear, and she even states this because he plays a little clip where she's giving a tour of her home. And as it's going on, the person that's invited there asks, if you have any advice to give, one piece of advice to give upcoming artists, what would it be? She just flat out says, and she doesn't miss a beat either, get a good lawyer.
When people look back on this age of music, they're going to think about the before Taylor Swift age and the after Taylor Swift.
No, people will not. Now, artists will, but not people. And he talks about how Taylor Swift, like a lot of others, especially young people, there's like 5 different copyright laws with music. And he talks about how Paul McCartney lost the rights to the Beatles with their songs, Taylor Swift, Rick James. Wow, for some reason, his video, now this time whenever I played it, it had like 6 commercial interruptions. So here's a little fun FYI for your information. If you're wanting to watch a YouTube video and not be disrupted by ads, if you will just play it, I'll turn the volume off here. But if you just play it and then you just click ahead and click ahead a little bit more, any pop-up ads that are there, they'll come up. And then you can just go ahead, let them play or skip through it or whatever. You go through the entire video just through these little jumps, because if you do one large jump at the very end to the very beginning, you'll only catch one. But if you break it up into a whole bunch of small ones, you'll get them all. And then you can, and so then whenever you go through the whole video and you don't have the little video ads pop up or the banners or whatever, then you're done. And then you can start the video all the way at the beginning, and you can watch it all the way through without having to be interrupted. So little fun, helpful little thing here. So he talks about how TLC was another one of them. I forgot. Lisa Left Eye Lopez there. She talked about how whenever TLC, they were young. They were like in their teens, like Taylor Swift. She was 15 whenever she signed all these contracts. Didn't know what they were doing, got screwed over. And it's because they have all these, Brad Paisley was another one, where they get screwed over. And it's because it's all, there's several different copyrights. So there's copyrights for like the lyrics, then there's copyright for whenever you go and you use their studio. Because it's their studio and their instruments and their equipment and all this stuff, then they own all of it. And so one of the big ones that he talked about was the master recording, because I guess that one kind of makes the most. And I remember this Paul McCartney there, him from the Beatles, and Michael Jackson were friends for a little while. And they actually sang one song together, and it's a good song. I think it's actually called Hey, Hey, Hey. Good song, fun song. And Paul says, hey, I'll share a little FYI information with you that I've learned, because Paul, I mean, the Beatles were done by then, and Michael was just up and coming. He said, own the rights to your music. Don't give it away. So Michael said, okay. And he bought the Beatles. He bought their stuff. Paul, I think he finally got it there at the end. So, and then what happened was that Taylor, she signed on with Big Machine. Then Big Machine's sold to Scooter Braun, and Braun was like a prick to her or something like that. And Taylor, and I'm sure she had people in her corner too who were like, screw this. And so the way you get around the master's original is you can re-record it. And that's exactly what she did. And she made it sound exactly like her original one. And it was like that for like her first like 5 or 6 albums. I don't know how much she has. And so she redid it. And this guy here, it's like this is his job. I mean, you can just see from where he's working here. He's just got guitars and speakers and keyboards and just everything all over the place. And he could tell immediately. It's like, yeah, the tempo is just exactly the same. Said the recording programs that they were using and like the mics and stuff probably better because it does sound better. But like the speed and whenever the notes are being hit, all of it just exactly the same, just clearer and sharper and all that. So it did sound better. And it was like, wow. So now everyone has a choice. So if you wanted to have her music in your commercials, TV show, movie, whatever it is that you wanted to do, you now have a choice. You can stick with Big Machine, and I think they actually sold it to Sony. Or you can actually use Taylor Swift's slightly revised version. I couldn't tell a difference, but he just pointed it all out. And everybody's going to choose hers because they're using her music because they like it and they want to probably also want to actually work with her too. Sony and Big Red Machine can't do that. They're not associated. So, yeah, and so now every single artist out there can do that. And it's so stupid. You know, the big label companies have just been screwing artists out of this forever. I mean, this is just history in the making with what she did. Oh, I want to find it. Yeah, here we go. Because she just... This is what I was talking about.
The original masters would be intact. Instead, her fans are buying the new album, which sounds identical to the original. Swift plans to re-record her other 5 albums as well, and if Big Machine is bitter, I guess that they can just shake it off.
What advice would you give to anyone who wants to become a singer?
Get a good lawyer.
If only I could.
She just... But... Because she's not a lawyer. I mean, it would be stupid to expect her to do that. You know, it's just like the lawyer can't sing and doesn't know anything, you know, about how that all works. Lawyer knows the law, so get a good lawyer. It's great. But yeah, it's ridiculous that we have some industries that, for some reason, they're going to own other people's work. So if you have a movie and you see something like Trident, or if somebody has a drink and it's like Coca-Cola, and they pay for that. They pay for it, that's in there. If you ever see the name of a company in like a TV show or a movie, there was some money that was exchanged back and forth. That was some product placement that was going on. Why are they the special ones? Somebody's made all of this stuff that I have. And if I was making a movie and I just had something like my wallet, I don't have to do it for this. If I built like a set or a whole bunch of furniture and it was used in a movie, they don't have to pay any kind of royalties for that at all. Just nothing. There's no product placement, no nothing for that. So why do we do it for these certain fields? Why don't we do it for everyone? You know how expensive movies and TV shows would be? Is that for every single car and all the clothes and everything in it and all the furniture, and why not the walls? All the jewelry, the makeup too that they have, that every single thing, the plants that people could say that, you know what, I own the rights to all elm trees, so if you show an elm tree, you know, pay me. It'd be stupid. So why is there this exception to this? It's just like, well, right now you can go on YouTube and you can find people singing what's her name? Taylor Swift's songs. Call them cover albums, and they'll do parodies of it all. And you know what it does to Taylor Swift? It's free publicity and promotion. Because while all these people sound good, they're not the ones who wrote these songs, who sang these songs, who had anything to do with these songs, you know, and it's just like, well, I want to go hear Taylor Swift. I really like that song. Let's hear how she did. She still sings them brilliantly. They still sound great. But now more people get to make a living out of it, maybe, or just have fun with it, or whatever it is that you want to do. So what about you? Have you ever made anything? Are you going to get paid for it like some of these other people? I think it's stupid. I think it's all absolute trash. So, but this is something that I'm going to dig into a little bit more. I don't know how. This was just something that just kind of came up randomly that I wanted to talk about because it's just clown world nonsense. But the main focus is that this is something that I haven't talked about in a while. And this is just cringe like crazy. This comes from the YouTube channel called The Quartering. He's titled it Epic Backfire, White Students Banned from Study Area. Let's make this right. And what this is, I think this is on Twitter. This is just a short little clip. It's just like a minute or so, and the whole thing is just... But if you see above me, I have a word pad that I've done with Black Lives Matter. So we're going to go over this because I haven't looked at this in a while. So let's see how it holds up. As I always say with these, because I have it written on all of these things, is that I'm not trying to change anyone's minds. That's not what this is about. This is about showing that people are lying. Whether if they're doing it intentionally or not, I don't care. It's their lies. So I just want to bring the information out there so then people can make up their own minds with this stuff. So what is Black Lives Matter? And so it's a decentralized political and social movement, which by the things that they do, that is not what it is. Protesting against incidents of police brutality and all racially motivated violence against black people. So let me read that again. That they are protesting. I don't know what protesting is supposed to do. It should be taking legal actions into changing the system and the way that the police are being trained and the procedures that they follow when dealing with black people or crimes or whatever. So protesting. Oh, anyways, protesting against incidents of police brutality and all racially motivated violence against black people. That's the big thing. Police and violence against black people. That's what you always see. And that's why every time you see a black person shot by a cop, they go out and they raise a bunch of money. Only Black Lives Matter when dealing with police and crime is one side of the argument, and the other side is all lives matter when dealing with police and crime. It's a racist movement because it's based off of race and not values. I value all life, for example, especially from people that do good. Let's change that up a little. Alright, so now it's a racist movement because it's based off of race and not values. So I value all life, especially from people that value life and peace over violence and crimes. You know, so this applies to police officers and civilians, black and white. You know, that you should value life and you should value peace and you should not condone violence of any kind or crimes. Okay, sounds reasonable to me. So some facts and evidence. All right, federal laws currently in place include Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 makes it illegal to discriminate against people or against someone on the basis of race, color, religion, national origin, or sex. So all of these besides religion, they all have one characteristic in common, and that is these are characteristics that you have no control over. You don't have any control over your race. If you're Asian or Hispanic or whatever, you have no control over your color. If you're black or white or brown or whatever, you have no control over where it is that you were born, or if you're a man or a woman. The exception is religion. This law also protects employees against retaliation for going forward with a claim against discrimination in the workplace. No officer thinks that just because a person that does not go over and, well, is it? No officer thinks that just because that the person that they are dealing with just happens to be the same race as them, that they are not going to treat them seriously, that they want to risk getting killed in a life and death situation. It is a fact. No officer is going out there wanting to be killed, and so he's going to treat situations seriously. Cops are not medical experts, that's true, because they're cops, obviously, not doctors. That if someone is in distress, that you know exactly what to look for and what to do. They expect you to know the psychological disorders and how to respond to people who are mentally ill. They expect you to use the perfect amount of restraint, be a martial arts expert, be a marksman, to be a doctor and a psychologist and a lawyer or judge. Yeah, they expect that from everyone. Yeah, and it's like, no, it's not it. More white people are killed by cops than blacks. And then there's the link to the statistics right there. Cops shoot at white kids. Police shootout with a 12-year-old boy and a 14-year-old girl. Oh, yeah. She was the one with the gun. She was the older one, and I think she had an AK. And we watched that video. There is more than one BLM. There's more than one of them, and then we watched a YouTube video about that. And people don't know what they're talking about because one of them is actually good, where they're actually trying to do what it is that they say. And the other, I think there's like 5 of them, and the other 4 are kind of about fundraising. Black 10-year-old shot by a black man, and BLM doesn't care at all. But to be fair, you know, they are focused on police violence. Studies, questions, occurrences. I don't think this thing with occurrences matters, because looking at this now, it's like, so what? And then how many people are going to remember this? There are some people that they're not going to know what this is, even if they were alive. They didn't keep up with it. So maybe this should go under something like lies or something. I don't know. I'll have to give it a little bit. Anyways, so let's take a look at this video and see what it is that goes on. And I'm going to pause because I'm going to talk about the problems that what she's saying. And there's a little bit that he's making kind of a bit of a problem, because as you can see, he says police lives matter. It's harder to see the lives because it's in blue right there on his computer. And it's like, no, they don't. Police lives matter just the same, as much or as little as anyone else, black, white, police, or civilians. So is he antagonizing someone? It's like, well, maybe. It doesn't seem that way, because he just flat out says, you know, I'm not trying to piss you off. I think he's just, maybe he is trying to make a, well, obviously he's trying to make a statement, but I don't think he's doing it to specifically piss anybody off. So let's watch.
You have it. You're offensive. Police lives matter?
We've got a police lives matter sticker and we're getting kicked out. Can't do school. You just said we have to leave.
No, I said you're making the space uncomfortable. But you're...
Yeah, so you're making the space uncomfortable. No, they're not. Nobody has any control over your feelings besides you. Nobody knows your feelings besides you. Nobody knows anything. If you're feeling threatened, that's because that's the way that you feel about it. Because there are some people that, in some situations, there are some people that feel threatened, and some people who just don't care. Some people, there's a phobia for everything. How are any of these people supposed to know how anyone else is feeling? You know, from what I can gather from this video is that these two guys are just here. They're all in school and college, and they're just there doing their work. And then these girls came up and they started doing this stuff.
You're white.
Oh my God.
Like, why it's got nothing to do with anything. This is a personal issue that she has, where she's racist against white people, where she has this fear or safety issue that she feels from herself. It's completely personal. There's nothing anybody can do with this. It's a decision that she's made. This is the way that she lives her life. It's all on her. I can't stop that, and neither can you.
So anyway, this is the violence that ASU does, and this is the type of people that they protect. Okay, this white...
They should be protecting everyone. So I don't know what she's talking about, because nobody's assaulted her. Nobody's done anything. It's just she is so weak and she's so frail that a sticker has upset her. A sticker on a laptop.
white man thinks he can take up our space, and this...
It's like there's space all over the place. There's empty chairs and empty couches and just empty seating all over the place.
This is why we need a multicultural space, because...
No, you can't have that, because that is against the law. That is segregation. And, you know, it's not like black people are just automatically great people, that they're saints just because they're black. Same thing with whites. It's off of an individual, person-by-person basis. There are plenty of black people who are good and plenty of black people who aren't. Plenty of white people who are good, plenty of white people who aren't. Same thing with Asians, Hispanics, everyone. I've known plenty of black and white people who are good and plenty of black and white people who are bad. It's just absolutely stupid.
Because they think they can get away with it.
That's exactly right. She thinks she can get away with this. She thinks that she can just come on up and start a fight and antagonize these people over a sticker.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to defend you guys.
I know, but...
See? He even says, I'm not trying to offend or antagonize anybody. He was just sitting there doing nothing. They were sitting there doing their work, and she and her friend take out the cell phone, and they start doing all this crap, start yelling. She's the one up hovering over them. They're the ones sitting down at some desks with their laptops out doing work.
But this offense.
And she even says, yeah, I know you're not trying to do anything to antagonize me. Let's hear that again.
I know, but this offends us automatically because these people.
Automatically? How's anybody supposed to know that? You know, there are plenty of black people who are like, they don't care, who agree, who say police lives matter.
Will kill people like me and like us, right? So you're promoting our.
That kill people like us, like me. Okay, well, that's wrong because more white people are killed by police than black people. And if Black Lives Matter really wanted to make a change, then they should want as many people involved as possible. That if they wanted to make a change, if they wanted to say the police are being too violent, because look at all these black people and white people and Hispanics and everyone, then if you had more people who were on board to get these things changed, it would go over a lot better. But they don't do that. Instead, they specifically target just black people. And it's like, well, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to get special favor for black people? Or are you trying to stop violence for Americans? It's like, are you an American or are you not? What does black or white have to do with it? It's like, don't you care that white people too are also getting shot and killed by cops and in greater numbers? Why wouldn't you want their help? If you're really looking to have the change, then you would want as much help as you could get.
Murderers.
And then here it is right here. He shows it right here. I'm going to turn off the laughing stuff because that's just annoying. So here it is. This shows how many black people are killed and how many white people are killed. And as you can see, it is more white people than blacks. And the colors, it just represents the years. And so that you can see that each year, it is always more white people than black. And the reason why the green is the shortest is because that's the current year it has to finish playing out. And it looks like it is twice as many white people are being killed by police than black people. So if and then he shows that little information right there. And then check this out. This guy comes up, and I think he's Asian or Hispanic. I don't remember.
Don't do that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because, do you understand that Police Lives Matter was in response to Black Lives Matter?
Yep.
I think he's Asian.
Yeah, that's fine. And you have everywhere. You have.
I'm working 60 hours a week while going to school because my parents don't just give me money.
It doesn't.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
Oh, so here I'm gonna turn off the volume. I'm gonna show you about that skipping all these ads. So here comes an ad in like 2 seconds, and then you just let it play until you can skip it. What? Why is it showing another one? I said skip. Wow, this is 3. What's going on with this? What? Stop. It's ridiculous. So you skip ahead. Usually he only has 2. Maybe I hit all 4, but you keep doing this, and if there's any more ads, they'll pop up. And whenever you make it to the end, there's no more, and then you can go back to the beginning, and you can play it without interruption. So how did this SOP hold up with Black Lives Matter? If she was wanting the police brutality to stop against black people, wouldn't she want allies instead of enemies? What is she doing? Is she bringing someone to the cause, or is she pushing someone away? Which one do you think is going to help? Because I'm all for it. But for everyone, that everyone deserves to have a friendly encounter with the police. I mean, within reason. I mean, if you pull out a gun or if you go for the cop's gun, I don't care who you are. If you get shot, it's like, well, you were just... I don't know what you expect. You expect the cop to just stand there and be shot at? You expect the cop to just stand there as you take their gun to shoot them? It's like, who's going to do that? No one. If you think that's the way that it should be, then we should meet up sometime and we'll play that out. And then that'll be the end of it. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And so, yeah, there's lying that's going on. So do you think that this girl is intentionally lying or not? I'm going to give her a lot of slack because she's obviously a college student. She's young. I'm sure, well, I guess I'm not sure, but I'm really positive in feeling that, and it's just my feeling, a gut feeling, that nobody's ever explained this to her. And she's never heard anything like this. She's just heard kind of the sugarcoating stuff. It's like, oh yeah, we want to stop black violence that cops are doing, you know, and it's like, yeah, and that's good. But it's not accomplishing the goals. You know, you want to build the force up with as many people as strong as you can by getting as many as you can on your side. So it just makes no sense. I'm curious, do you think there's anything else that could kind of do this? Because I'm not against Black Lives Matter, kind of the mission that they have of stopping the violence. It needs to be bigger, more encompassing, where it needs to be stop police brutality and unnecessary violence. But, you know, part of that problem, though, is that with these occurrences that are here, with Dwight Wright and George Floyd, those guys got shot because they were doing some screwed up stuff. At the beginning, whenever it first came out, it looked like it was the police, the cops' fault. But as more evidence came out, it was like, no, that was only half the story. There was a lot more to it. So it's like, yes, you know what? If you're calm and you're just having an encounter, if you don't have a gun, you know, if you get pulled over and the cops are just acting like fools and they're just scared just because somebody's a certain color, it's like, yes, screw every last one of them. Screw every last one of them. I'm all for that. I'm all down for the right values. And it's like, yep, valuing peace and nonviolence and non-criminal behavior, I'm all for it. The system doesn't get thrown away. It needs to be refined. So what can we do to refine it? Perhaps more training, perhaps understanding values more, perhaps better checks and balances. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it because I need to try to upload that second video to Bitchute that didn't work yesterday. And so, but if you've understood what I've said and you agree with all this stuff, this is what I'm doing. So I'd appreciate it if you'd give me a quick little thumbs up and subscribe and become a member. Because if you have issues with any of these topics, I'm going to hit them all at some point in time. Thanks for watching.